Welcome to all of our members from all over the world, from Australia, from England, throughout Europe, and the USA and Canada. Our Naples Mac user group meetings are each and every Wednesday until June 30th, which is within a few weeks. And then we resume September 1st from 11:30 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. Everybody that attends the meeting must be a member of Naples MUG or an invited guest. And this is for Zoom security purposes. We have 42 weekly meetings a year. We're very excited at the moment because we have many of our members who are also members of other Mac user groups throughout the world. And here is the actual graphics from each of these user groups. And you can see it all the way from Long Island to Mackinac to Suffolk, England to Dallas, Texas. So I'm going to hold on a second. I have to remove the dog from the room. You have to be quiet. Okay. My dog now expresses himself.
George, may I make a quick interruption? Why don't you make your dog a member of Naples MUG? Then he can join. And he can give us applause by barking. Just an idea.
That's a good idea. That is, I'll take out that membership today. We're very excited about our new website. Please take a look at it. We're very proud of it. Gina Cox, who is from England, is the developer of the website, and Mike Kowalczniak, also with the Suffolk Mac user group, is responsible on the board for routinely making changes to it. An example of our Wednesday meetings is on the website. This shows you what the September meetings are. The meetings through the end of the year are all on the website, plus all and everything about the Mac group is. So please utilize our brand new website. I just want to review a few of the meetings coming up. The last meeting of the month will be Mitch Bryers, our famous Mitch Bryers, and Jeff Bohr, who's one of our major class instructors and has been a member of Naples MUG for years and years, as Mitch. And they will be reviewing WWDC 21, and this should be an outstanding meeting. If anyone would like to invite a guest to this meeting, just let Eckert know who that guest would be, and we can make provisions for you to invite a guest. Also on June the 23rd, this is going to be a meeting that's a little different than our usual meetings. Wayne Mertz, who's a longtime member of the Naples Mac user group and also a newly board member, is going to talk about his brand new Tesla. And like Wayne said, the Tesla is like driving a computer. If Apple were to manufacture a car, they would have made a Tesla. And we please attend this meeting and find out more about why Wayne is saying this. This is going to be a great meeting. This is a great automobile. And I also believe that Jeff Bohr and Eckert will be involved in the meeting because they are also proud owners of Tesla. The meeting next week will be Apple security issues by our own member and Southwest Florida security expert, Dennis DiGiacomo. So please attend that meeting, and Dennis will review all recent security issues, and there's a whole heck of a lot of them. And one of the newer issues that he's going to talk about that has come up on the discussion group is whether or not you need any virus protection on your Mac. Okay, for today's meeting, I am very, very excited to welcome back Kelly Guimont. Kelly has not been with us for a few years. She is well known throughout the Apple world. She is a wonderful, wonderful speaker, has a great understanding of everything Apple, and is very, very popular in the Apple world. And if you look to the picture to, I guess, your left, you will see Kelly. This meeting takes place, I think, every Tuesday night. And Chuck runs the meeting, which is the guy in the upper left-hand corner, Chuck Joyner. Dave Ginsburg, who is also a member of our group and who is the president of the Chicago Mac user group, is also part of that group. And it's fun to listen to, and they talk about very interesting things every Tuesday night. And Kelly, I just want to say thank you for joining us, and we really want to welcome you back. Thank you. It's all yours.
Thanks so much, George. First, I want to tell everybody I appreciate the picture that was on the right-hand side of the screen, which was of my mask, which has a phrase on it from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And the reason is because today is unofficially Bill and Ted Day. So everyone is supposed to tell everyone to be excellent to each other. So it made me extra happy that you picked that one as a photo of me. So let's see if we can do a little bit of screen sharing here. Every once in a while, Keynote decides that what I'm actually trying to do is irrelevant to Zoom. So let's see if I can make this happen. Everybody see my slide?
Yes, Kelly.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. Please put questions in the chat. I'm going to have Sheeta go ahead and interrupt me. I requested specifically to be interrupted during my talk. I want this to be conversational, and I want everybody to get something interesting out of it when they do. So I very much want to have an opportunity for everyone to get their question answered or have me repeat something if I went a little fast. And sometimes I do. I talk a lot. As George may have given you the impression, I talk a lot. So I have loads of tips and tricks specifically for your iPhone. A lot of these will translate to iPad as well. So we'll get going. If you don't know who I am, George gave me a very lovely introduction. So I will just let you go with this slide here and move on to the next one. I'm going to show you, like I said, I'm going to show you as many as I can in the time that I have available. If you have a question, like I said, please be sure and ask, and Sheeta will be sure to interrupt me. I'm generally presuming that you're using a Face ID phone. This is like a baseline. If you have a Touch ID phone, a lot of these will work. They'll just work a little differently. So that's the thing we want to, that's a thing to look at. So it may work a little differently if you have a home button on your device. So for the most part, these are presuming Face ID authentication. So the first one I want to talk about is accessibility. And the reason I want to talk about that is because there's a whole lot of options available in accessibility that aren't necessarily things that people will come across, because like, you know, a lot of people think of accessibility as something for people who have limited access in some way. And that's not really the case. One of the things in accessibility right off the bat, if you look over on the right-hand side, I've got the screenshot of the accessibility settings there. And Face ID and attention can make it, what that does is that's the thing where your camera makes sure that you're looking at your phone in order to unlock it. And if that's sometimes hard, or like if your phone can never actually tell if you're looking at it, you can change those settings so that as long as your face is kind of in the vicinity, then it'll work. So that's one that's that's one that's always good to have. You can also I don't remember where the option is for it, but you can also have it sort of buzz you once it officially authenticates. So if you've got it in your hand and you don't look at it, so if I hold my phone kind of, the camera's backwards and sometimes it's hard. So if I hold my phone kind of over here, but I'm looking at you, it'll, you know, give me the little vibration, a little bit of vibration in my hand when it unlocks. So that's one that can always help. In settings, there's also audio visual. I'm looking to see if it's on, if I have it on the screen here, and I don't think I do, but there's a place where you can choose to flash the flashlight or the, you know, the flash on your camera when you get a text alert or any other kind of alert. You can set it for what kind of alerts you want to have, and that way you can see that it's going off, which is sometimes nice, especially if you don't always hear that it's going off. This is one my stepdad really likes because he wears headphones to watch TV, so he can listen to it at the volume he likes, which is the opposite of the volume that my mom likes. So it's good for him to be able to tell. He gets like that visual indicator that his phone is going off when somebody texts him. And his primary use case for that is watching a football game and being able to trash talk with other members of his family while the game is happening. So it's very important that he not miss those messages. And so when I gave him that tip, he was very appreciative. Another thing you can do, there are a couple of these. There's the accessibility shortcut, which used to just be that you could triple tap the side button or triple tap the home button to pull up, and it will let you choose an accessibility option if you like to zoom in real far for something that you're reading, but it's, you know, temporary, or you like to activate voiceover. I personally use this so that voiceover can read a Kindle book to me. So I will triple tap while I'm in the Kindle app. I can turn on voiceover while I'm having the book read to me, and then I can turn it off again when I'm not using it. So that sometimes is helpful. We also have on newer phones, we have the back tap where you can tap it twice to invoke something or 3 times to invoke something. So if what you really want is just to go tap, tap and have the camera go off, you can do that. There are a number of other options. You can also have it launch a shortcut. So if you've gotten particularly tricky with iOS and you've got certain things that happen automatically when you, you know, that you can run via shortcut, you can make those something you can invoke by tapping the back of your phone. That's also one that's very cool. I've seen a couple of chat alerts come up, so I just want to make sure everybody's with me so far.
Sure. Kelly, quick question.
Yes.
With the Face ID and attention, people are still wearing masks. Is there anything particular that they have to do in order to open up their phone if they have the mask on?
Yes. If you're wearing a mask, well, that's a yes with an asterisk. And that is if you have an Apple Watch and you update your phone to iOS 14.5 and you update watchOS to 7.4, the latest version of watchOS, you can make it so that when you go to unlock your phone, it will look for enough of a face to see a face, and then it will make sure your watch is unlocked and in the vicinity of your phone, and your watch will buzz your arm and tell you your phone is unlocked, and then you can unlock it that way.
All right, good. Thank you.
So that's a new thing that is fantastic and a very recent development, and is one of the things that honestly kept me from having to reinstall all my stuff on my iPhone 8 just so I had that home button again for unlocking my device. So yeah, it does work. And the nice thing about it is that it taps your arm, and your watch will buzz you to let you know that your phone is unlocked. And it gives you the option, like if you didn't unlock it, that you can lock it again from your phone. Like the dialogue on your watch will say your phone was unlocked, and there's a button at the bottom that says lock phone. So Like, I don't think it's very discriminate if you've got the mask detection working. So
Mhm.
like any face that it finds, I think will work. So if that's the case, then, you know, if you have, if your kid holds it up and wants to play Candy Crush or something, you know, maybe you don't want that. You can hit lock phone and keep them out. So
All right, great to know. Thank you.
that can be helpful too.
Mhm.
You can also let's see. One of the other things that I like for the accessibility features, aside from temporarily using voiceover, is there's another one in there that I personally like very much called reduce white point. And the reason that I like it is because it will let me dim the screen even further. So if you are sometimes like if you're in a room that's dimly lit, like you want to watch a movie and you don't want the lights on very high, even the low setting of brightness on your phone can be pretty bright. So you can actually turn that even further down by using the reduce white point. I find that one very helpful. Uh, Guided access is another thing that's in accessibility that will lock your phone to a single app. So this is again another iPad OS has this too. So if you want to put it on Candy Crush, you want to put it on Angry Birds, and the only thing that the person you're handing your phone to or your iPad to, you want to make sure that that's the only thing that they can do. You can use guided access to lock it to that single app. You can also set a time limit, and then literally that's the only thing that whoever is using your device can do, and that
Ellie,
sometimes is also very helpful. Yes.
if is that accessibility available for the light, turning the light down on the iPad also?
Uh, you can adjust the brightness. Do you mean on the screen or do you mean the flashlight?
No, on the screen. You turn the screen.
Yes. Reduce
My
white
wife
point.
is always complaining that the iPad is too bright, and I've
Mhm.
got it turned all the way down.
Yes, you can do it on
Okay.
both. And
Okay.
yeah, and then so triple tap the button or yeah, triple tap the button, whether it's the home button or the side button, depending on your iPad. You can have it set to reduce white point, and you can tap that, and then you get the option to adjust it even further down. So
Thanks.
yeah, so that does help. In another one in accessibility, one of the choices, it's right there. The second option in my screenshot is Zoom. This can be awesome if you sometimes have a hard time reading a text message, or you're just trying to look at something a little bit closer, and then you want to, and then you want your phone to go back to whatever the view is you normally have set. You can adjust that so that you double tap with 3 fingers and it'll zoom in, and then you double tap with 3 fingers again and it zooms back out to what your normal setting was. I find this one really cool whenever I'm trying to look at, particularly like if I'm reading a PDF or something on my phone and something is very small and I want to see it, I can triple tap with 3 fingers and it blows it up for me, and then it goes back to normal size when I do it again. So another thing, another one that we can go to, this actually is, this is not a settings. Let's see how many I had. This is a piece that I have. Okay, I'm going to back up my slide just for a second because there's one more. There's a couple of things here that are very cool. In settings, I don't know why my screenshot didn't change, but in settings, control center. Control center is the stuff that when you when you're looking at your phone and you pull down from the battery and the battery and the Wi-Fi over here on the right hand side, and it gives you this screen of stuff, you can customize that screen of stuff. So you can have on there the things that you actually want to use. Like if you like the magnifier, which just uses your iPhone camera and zooms in, which is great for because this is a thing we might do again someday. It's great for reading a menu in a place that's dimly lit, or if the menu writing is very small. The magnifier is super great for stuff like that, or a label on something that's written very small. You can add different modes for things. If you use the stopwatch all the time, or set timers, you can have it set a timer for you. You can add the Apple TV remote. It'll give you a shortcut right to the Apple TV remote app if you use that all the time. There are a lot of options that you can customize in that and make the control center something that actually works for you. So you can make changes to all these things. You can make adjustments to what you want them to look like, and it makes it a lot more useful. And if you go spend like 10 or 15 minutes in there just sort of messing around and seeing what options are available to you, that's something that will only make your phone more useful and helpful as you use it. So that's one that's really good. Here's widgets is another place where these things happen. So you can always look at more widgets, and you can change them to be what you want them to be. This is just what mine looks like right now. You can see the ones that I have featured, and you can change now with iOS 14, you can change the size of your widgets. You can choose if you want, like I have my Fantastical all the way across the top because I need it to be great big because there's always a lot of stuff in it. So I like to have the calendar really big. Maybe what you want at the top when you go over to that page of widgets is the weather, or maybe you want maps up there because you're always about to head somewhere awesome, because we can start doing that again and you want to make sure you can get there efficiently. That's another thing that you can add. I like batteries over there. I like favorites because it makes it so I don't have to go track down the phone app in my home screen of app icons. I can just swipe over because most of the time I'm only calling somebody that's in my favorites list anyway. So it makes it very easy to call them very quickly. And I have shortcuts in there and music in there because I use those pretty often. So I find them helpful. But you can also maybe discover that an app that you really like has a widget and that you can use that widget. And you can make those things that happen on that page if you swipe left from your first page. Or you can also, make widgets part of your home screen as well. Like in amongst all your applications, you can have widgets there as well now. So that's another one that it's worth spending a little bit of time configuring so that it looks the way that you want it to look. Because those are some options that will absolutely make your phone your own, and you will be able to use it the way that you want, which is one of the things Apple really wants everyone to do, is have a good experience. And so one of the ways to make it a good experience is to make it your experience and make it do what you like. Another thing that you can do that I do not have a screenshot for. Another thing you can do, you can have that I think is very useful. I know lots of people have unlimited data on their cell phone plans now, but a lot of people don't. And so you can go in and adjust in settings. There's cellular, and in cellular, it will show you the usage and stuff you have now if you want to check. And then also you can disable specific applications and make sure that they're not allowed to use cellular data when they're downloading to your device. So if you have something that is going to just download all the time and you don't want that to happen, you can turn that off, and it's per application. So that's another, spend a few minutes and it might really make a difference for you depending on what you're doing. I know most people are basically on home Wi-Fi all the time right now, but again, when we leave and go places, that might change and then it will be better.
Kelly, you
yes.
have a question? You have a question?
Yes.
Don, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yeah, sorry, I must have missed if you told me where you find this widget settings. I don't see them on my iPhone.
Okay. If you are on the first page, on your first page of apps in your on your home screen.
Can I pause you for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, is it possible that you can share or do you want to share your iPhone screen to show this?
I don't have a way to do it. I can just hold it up to the camera and show that if you go like, let's see, is it that way? Yeah. If you go like this across your screen, you will get those. Hey, look, it's me in my Jedi robes from going to see the last Star Wars movie. But you can see it here. And then to edit them, if you go all the way to the bottom, it'll show you an edit button. And that edit button is where you get to customize the widgets you can see.
I see it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I
Okay.
need to charge my watch. Thank you for asking, because now I know I need to put my watch on to charge while we're sitting here talking, because it's not like I'm gonna stand up and get points for it. So yeah, those little customizations, like making the widgets work for you, making sure you have the widgets on your home screen that you want to have, making sure that your control center has the things in it so that you can adjust the stuff that you want to adjust. Those things are super duper helpful, and you will, as you adjust them, you will find that your experience with your device just gets better. You will like it better all the time as you make those the things that you want them to be. In notifications, a thing that's nice is you can have the S lady. Everybody knows, I hope, what I mean when I say the S lady, the assistant in your phone. I don't want to turn anybody's on, so I don't like to say her name.
Yes, yes, okay.
So yeah, so over on TDO, we call her the S lady. And the one from Amazon is referred to as the A lady, so we don't turn anybody's one of those on either. So if you want to, you can have the S lady read you your messages. So if you get a text, like if you have your phone charging on the end of the counter or something while you're making dinner, you can have her tell you, hey, George, you got a message from Kelly and she wants to know what time she's speaking at the Mac user group tomorrow. And then you can also have her break in, like if you're reading an audiobook, she can break into whatever audio is currently playing, and you can adjust the level of that. So you can have it be where she reads you every text message that comes in. You can have it so that it's just people in your contacts or just people on your favorites list. You can have all those things happen like whatever level of interruption, I guess, you want her to have. And then there's an additional setting for having her wait. And so like at the end of it, she'll wait and see, for example, like, she says, hi, George, Kelly just texted you to find out what time the meeting is tomorrow. And she'll wait a second to see if George says, text Kelly, it starts at 11:30. And then that reply will automatically get sent. And then you don't have to do anything.
I want to input there for you, Kelly, and then I'll let Mitch ask his question.
Okay.
I find that absolutely invaluable when I get a text message and I'm driving, and I'll say, hey, S lady.
Hey, lady. Yes.
Read my text to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it will read all of the text that have come in. It'll tell me you have 2 new ones, you'll have something, whatever. And if I tell it to read any of those text messages from any person, it will read them for me and then ask if I want to reply. Mm-hmm. That is so cool.
It's right. Especially in the car, that one is very nice. But additionally, you can have her, and this would also work while you're in the car, you can have her just break in and say, like, instead of having to ask her, hey, read my messages, she could say, who asked that question?
I did, Shita.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was your question. I was like, I wanted to know who's you reading. So, Shita, what you can do is you can have it say, hi, Shita, you have a text message from your mom. She wants to know when you're coming for dinner. If you have your mom set to be one of the ones that breaks in, and then like your other messages, she won't say anything. You can still ask her. But it'll save you the level of interaction if you say, like, if they're in my contacts, go ahead and just tell me. And then like while you're driving, that will just happen. And she'll just say, hey, your mom texted you, whatever.
Okay. Now where's that setting?
That is in, I think it moved in 14. But there's it's called announce messages. And I'm going to look right now and see. Okay, so in notifications, in settings, in the second block of settings there's notifications, and you can go to announce messages with Siri, and that shouldn't have worked, so I hope it didn't turn anybody's on. And when it's there, you can see it, and then there's also a description underneath it. So for some it will it's just for AirPods. Like if you have AirPods or AirPods Pro, it'll read them to you, or in the car. But it'll also tell you it can announce messages from these certain things, and
Right.
reply without confirmation is one of the other options there. So she'll wait, and or you can have her just send a reply. Like if you're most of the way to your mom's house and she sends you a text and says like, where are you? You know, and she sends you a text, you can probably guess what that is. And you could just tell her, you know, you can tell the S lady, reply to my mom, I'm almost there, you know,
Great.
and be done
Great.
with it. So
Great.
that's under notifications.
Right.
Um,
Mitch, you have a question.
Yes, on the screen that's up right now for adding widgets. I don't have the selections that you have. For example, I went through all my more widgets at the bottom. I don't find music. I don't find favorites for the phone.
Okay.
And my list starts, like I know yours list starts with activities and account feed. Mine starts with AccuWeather and then authority.
Okay.
So I'm wondering what I need to do to get all those widgets at the bottom.
Probably I don't remember how I ended up with music in the widgets, except that I use it all the time because I listen to music constantly on my phone. So I think that might be it. Like if you've launched the app a few times, maybe it'll show up there. I use music a ton. I use activity a lot. I don't use Authy, but maybe it's because I've launched it. Then iOS knows that there's a widget available, so that's how it ends up in the list at the bottom under more widgets.
Well, I use activity all the time. I mean, I'm an exercise freak, and I use it on my watch, and
then you definitely use it more than I do.
Okay, so and it's not showing, and also the one of the ones I wanted to add that I liked was the favorite phone calls, and that's not showing as an option.
I don't know. Well, here's the thing is I don't know where iOS gets the information about what things should be in widgets. So the things I would give you are some sort of generic troubleshooting, like make sure everything's up to date, go to software updates, make sure everything's on the latest, restart your phone, and see if any of that changes anything down there. Or launch it a couple of times and then go to widgets and see if it shows up.
I think I'm going to do some Google work because I've done all those things.
Yeah,
all right. Thank you very much.
Kelly, I have a question if you don't mind.
Not in the least. Go ahead.
Okay, I've got edit on the widgets. The first three wiggle, but this USA Today, I don't even know how it got on there, but I'd like to get rid of it, and it's like it's still, I can't delete it.
Okay. And that's you went to widgets and scrolled down and hit edit?
Yes.
Okay. If you hit the plus in the top left corner, it should give you like search widgets and show some different things. And you might be able to go there and get USA Today removed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe. I promise nothing. I'm not sure with one that's really stubborn like that. I don't know how to make it leave. If you have the USA Today app installed, maybe you have to go to its settings and tell it knock it off with your widgetist behavior, and then it will stop. I don't know.
Okay.
I have an answer to the last two people's question. This is Mike Schleider.
Hi, Mike. I would love to hear your answer.
The thing that you're missing is when you go to the edit button, if you scroll all the ways down to the bottom, it says customize. And when you go to customize, then you can add more widgets and get rid of widgets you don't want. That's what you're missing.
Okay. I think I think my screenshots might not be iOS 14. So that might have something to do with it. Or if they are, it's like early beta and I just didn't I didn't get far enough in to make sure.
Yeah, I've done that, and I've gone all the way down to the bottom, and all it does is say more widgets. It doesn't, under the customization, it shows the ones I've selected. and it shows more widgets, but it doesn't show where I can add things that I don't have, like the phone favorites. So that's not an answer for me.
Let me look at mine, because honestly, I'm not sure how I got that over there. If I go to customize and I scroll down, I do see a whole bunch of other stuff that I can add under customize. I'm not sure why none of them are favorites, are phone favorites. So now I feel like that's some sort of secret bit of magic that I didn't realize I was doing.
Well,
I don't see anything in the list that makes that happen. So I'm gonna check into that. Let me.
I'll do a little
grab my pen
Google
and make a
work on
note.
it too.
Yeah, and
All
I would
right,
be
and-
very interested in what you find out. So.
Is that an
Yeah.
option in your phone? As opposed to the widgets?
Oh, in the phone settings instead of in
Yeah.
the. Oh, that might be. Let's see. I'm gonna write it down so I remember to look it up if we don't find the answer right here. So let's see if I go to settings and I go down to phone, which is way down here. I don't. Let's see. Is it under notifications? It's not. So I'm not sure where that comes from. It might be. It's possible it might be related because with suggestions, like maybe it won't suggest, maybe it won't show it if, because I have all of the things on for the home screen, show suggestions, suggest app, show app in search, show content in search, under SLED and search in the phone settings. So maybe it's because I granted it permission that now I can see favorites as one of my widget options. Because not everybody has that option turned on so that people can't access your phone while your phone is locked. So that might be it. It might be something like that that doesn't seem related, but is sort of permission adjacent. That might be the problem. So let's see. We talked about Control Center. Actually, we have a couple of things in Control Center that I want to talk about because they're very cool. And one of them is if you go to, I'll have everybody follow along with me on this one. So grab your phone and pull down from the battery, Wi-Fi, cell signal, and you'll see the stuff that's there, whatever it is. And you've probably got, most people are running something pretty close to the default options. So in the top left, you'll have the 4 buttons of airplane mode, cell phone radios, which is like the little antenna with the parentheses around it, and then Wi-Fi and then Bluetooth. And if you've got all those there, you can tap and hold on that and you can get expanded options for those things. Because one of the things it's got in there is AirDrop. If you want to turn AirDrop on and off easily, if you want to turn on and off personal hotspot, you can do it in there easily. And you can also tap and hold on each of the things when it expands. So if you tap and hold on it, you should get something that looks like this. If I can do it without it reflecting too badly. You should see these options. And then once you see these options, if you tap and hold on one of those options, like I went tap and hold on the Wi-Fi. And so here's all the Wi-Fi in my area as it goes and looks for other networks. And so, and you can do that for all of them. Like you can,
How did you get to that?
Pull down from the top right-hand corner where it's
Open
got
your
the,
control center.
Yeah, that I opened the controls. I mean, I
yeah.
have it up
And
there.
now in this top corner, you've got these 4 things.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And if you tap and hold on that, it pops up this whole
Gotcha.
extra panel of
Gotcha.
extra controls.
I was
And
in widgets.
yeah, basically everything in Control Center, you can do that. So like if I do the same thing on the flashlight, it will let me adjust how bright the light is. and you can tap and hold. If you have screen mirroring in there, you can tap and hold on screen mirroring and pick which device you want to use. If your house is like my house and there's a whole bunch of options, you can tap and hold on brightness and it will give you some custom options. How do you want to change it in a particular way? You can make some of those changes. You can, depending on the other things that you have in there, if you tap and hold on some of them, they will give you additional choices. So that's another thing that's very cool that I like about Control Center that seems to be super secret that nobody knows about, is that you can tap and hold on a bunch of those and have them work. So we're not on widgets anymore, so I'm just going to move on to my next screen, and that's
Kelly?
just, yes.
Kelly, this is Wayne Mertz.
Hi, Dwayne.
I got a problem. I can't get out of Zoom.
How did you turn it on? Was it triple tap?
No, it was, I flipped the switch on the section of the app that on the section of settings that had Zoom in it. And I
Okay.
can't,
And it won't come back?
it won't come back.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Let's see.
Don't worry about it.
You won't be able to sleep tonight.
It's going to bug me if I don't figure it out. So yeah, George knows what's up. If you tried double tapping with 3 fingers, it might undo it. I don't know.
You got it.
Okay, I won at Mug Talks. All right. So, all right. Who's next?
All right.
Okay.
Hooray, hooray.
Let's see. So again, I will tell you, you can make those buttons in Control Center whatever you want. Some of them have additional features. I'm just showing you this screenshot of a lock screen because I made a joke to my friend that this would be a great lock screen to make use of the notch at the top of the screen. And so he thought so. And this is still the lock screen on my friend's phone to this day, like 3 phones later or something. Because I got a chuckle out of it. It made me smile. And so enjoy an entertaining lock screen. Mostly some of the other things that you can do in the phone app that can be very useful. This is another one of those, spend a couple of minutes and your life will be better. And that's if you go into settings and then phone, silence unknown callers is a magical thing. Particularly if you have a popular phone number that gets a fair number of phone calls. It's very nice to be able to silence those. And the reason that it's great is because the intelligence behind it has gotten smarter over time. It has improved. So now what will happen is if you just turn it on, a caller that's an unknown number or it's not in your contacts is going to silently ring. It'll give you a banner at the top of your screen. If you're using your phone, you can swipe it away. And it'll just show you that that number called you, and it'll show up in your recents list, but your phone won't ring. If your phone is off, you'll never know until it shows up in recents later. But also, if you turn it on, then it will ring through anyone who's in your contacts and any recent outgoing calls. So like if you called somebody you don't normally talk to, you made a bunch of calls to get an estimate on a thing, right? And one of those numbers calls you back, that number will ring, even though it's not in your contacts. So because your phone knows you called it recently, that's probably returning a call you actually wanted. And so the call will ring through to you. And that's one of the great things about this particular feature is that it's gotten a lot better about that. So you can.
Is that a new option? Is that new?
Silence unknown callers is not. It was called something a little different in like
12. No, the last example you made.
Yes, the intelligence. Okay. The intelligence is new to iOS 13. In 12, it was like contacts or not, and it was like a binary option, and there was no if you called it recently, it will still ring through. So that's helpful. Like you call the doctor's office, which may not be in your phone, and they call you back, like you'll get that message. So that's a very nice one. Another adjustment you can make in there, there are a couple that are very handy. Wi-Fi calling. If you have awesome Wi-Fi, but your cell reception isn't so great in your house, the Wi-Fi calling just sort of assists your phone with reception. So that's super great. You can get calls on other devices. This is where you can turn that on if you like it. If you don't, you can turn it off. People tend to have strong opinions about having everything ring or not ring when somebody calls you. So if you want everything to ring, like you can have it ring your Mac and you can answer that phone call on your computer if you want to. If you don't, that's fine too. You can just hit that switch and it'll turn it off. And then the only thing that will ring when you get a phone call will be your phone. But you do have the option of having other stuff ring as well. And you can answer it there, or you can just answer your phone, but maybe you like to have the notification on your computer that your phone's ringing. You know, that's up to you. There's a separate within phone, aside from the where did it go? Like, yeah, in silence unknown callers, like I said, there's that option. I need more coffee, so I was about to try and pitch you the second tip I gave you again. There's another option in the phone app for announce incoming calls, and that can be a handy one, particularly if you're driving, because it will tell you who it is. So maybe you can't see your phone, and it will tell you, unknown caller, or it'll say George Rubin or whatever, it'll tell you the name that comes up on caller ID for that call. So sometimes that's helpful. Also, if you don't have a good look at your screen while you're doing it, that can be helpful.
Kelly?
Yes.
Kenneth has a very basic question. Kenneth,
Yes.
Can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Yeah, these last few settings you showed us, Kelly, where are they? I'm looking on my phone and I don't actually see them.
You have to go to settings, and then in settings, go to phone.
Okay, let me just try to.
It's in the block of options under App Store and Wallet and Apple Pay. You'll see like all the iOS apps that you get with your phone are all right there, and one of them is phone.
All right. Kenneth, do you see them? Unmute yourself. You got muted.
Unfortunately, I do not. I went to the control center and I went on settings and I don't really see anything. I mean, I see a flashlight, timer, calculator, but I don't see the phone.
Are you in the wrong place, Kenneth?
He's in the wrong place.
You're in the wrong place.
Okay.
Go to settings.
Okay.
The settings app.
Not control center. Go to the settings app.
Okay. Okay, I'm on that.
Okay.
And then from settings, go to phone.
Yeah, you'll have to scroll past like airplane mode and notifications and general and control center, and keep scrolling down, and you'll see App Store and Wallet and Apple Pay, and they're kind of aligned to themselves. And then just below that, you'll see the iOS list of options, and one of them right in there is phone.
I got it now. Thank you.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Right. I'm on a hot streak. I keep answering. All right. Let's see. So another thing that you can do with the phone app is if you long press on it, then you will get a little pop-up menu that shows you you can view your most recent call. You can search for a contact, or you can create a new contact right from the phone app, which is also sometimes super handy. You can also go straight to your most recent voicemail, which is another nice one. Like if you saw somebody called you and you don't want to have to go through all the gyration, you can just tap and hold on the phone app and go straight to your most recent voicemail, and it'll show you what it is. So that's helpful. Or at least I find it helpful a lot, because
That's very helpful. Very helpful.
Because I don't always need the call, but if somebody bothered to leave a voicemail, I probably need it. So that sometimes is handy. Let's see. We talked about widgets. Another thing that a couple of small things that have happened in are things that happened in system apps. So one of the apps that you get with your phone is Measure. This is a new thing, and you can use it, and it'll tell you how far things are if you want to measure, like that bookshelf behind me. Like, how tall is it exactly? How wide is it? Or I want to measure the window right over there. It'll measure. But one of the things that came with it that's very cool, which is the one that I use way more than Measure, is there's two tabs at the bottom, and one is Measure and one is Level. And you can use Level, and it'll tell you if it's level or not. And I really like being able to tell, is that even or not? And it's very cool to have the option of, is that picture straight? Is my monitor level? Or, is it completely cattywampus, as my dad would say? And you can use it, either direction. It works this way too. If I can hold it steady, you can see it turns green when it finds that it's level. And it's just a really handy thing because sometimes you need to know it's level, but you don't have a level. Like if I'm at the opposite end of the house, I'm not going to go all the way to the garage and get the level and then come all the way back and go see if it works. And sometimes like I need a little level, like I'm trying to, square up a small thing, and all my levels are like 3 feet long. And so, because if you're going to buy a level, right? So,
yes.
So, go big or go home is a
Kelly?
motto at my house.
I
Kelly?
actually, go ahead, George.
I'm sorry. Kelly, can you measure a light fixture on your ceiling?
Yes.
So when you go to the light store and they say, what size is your light fixture? You got the measurement, and I don't have to get on the ladder and fall off.
Yes, that. But also, sometimes when they say what size, they mean what light bulb, what lighting it takes. And so sometimes that's a different question.
No, the size
Ask
of
me
the
how I know.
light fixture.
Okay, then yeah, that totally works. I'll come back later and give a home improvement talk and talk about all the ways that I use my iPhone to make sure that I have all this information with me when I do stuff at my house.
You and me, Kelly. You and me. Okay.
I'm here for it because I just gave somebody a bunch of advice about this is the information that you carry around in your phone, so you never have to be without it. So
I've used that level to set up my shepherd's hook in my garden.
Yes.
To make sure it was vertical. So I know exactly where you're coming from. Karen, can you unmute yourself and ask a question, please?
Yes, please. Hi, Karen.
Hi. Can you tell me where you find that again, please?
The level?
Yeah.
There's an app called Measure. You may have to Siri search for it, unless you're letting Apple manage for you. It might be in a folder called System or something. But if you just pull down and search for Measure and open Measure, it'll start trying to figure out, you'll have to give it waypoints for the thing that you want to measure if you're doing that. But otherwise, it'll give you level. Like at the bottom, it says Measure and Level, and you can go to Level.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, very useful.
Another one that I like from a system app that I find very handy is in the clock app. And I know this will sound weird because, again, very boring app, right? But if you go to clock and you go to set a timer, if you tap on timer at the bottom, you get an option for when timer ends to do a thing. And so you can have it play a sound, and you can have it, or you can have it play something else. So that's one of the ones that you can use. So what I like for when the timer ends, one of the options is stop playing. So the reason this is cool is, or at least to me anyway, the reason this is cool is because when I use that, I will turn on music. And then instead of having to listen to some sort of alarm noise in half an hour or whatever it is, when I have to check the oven or something, the music stops. And then I know I have to go do the thing. And you'll still get the same alert on your phone, like timer ended or whatever it says, or on your watch, timer ended. But you can use it, you can just play music and then it'll just stop playing music when the time is up. So that one is a very handy, I use that probably almost every day. That's one of the things I do the most is use that.
Kelly?
Yes.
I just want to chime in here about the timer app. I use it to go to sleep at night. Put on some calm music, and I find out if I don't use the stop timer, then sometimes the music will re-wake me up. And so when I put a 15-minute stop time on it, I usually don't hear the end of the music that I've set because I've fallen asleep before that.
Yeah, I use Sleep Stories for that. They're pretty great. But it's the same sort of thing. Like there's podcasts and like audio files, and you can just hit play and it'll just play and then you just fall asleep to it. So yeah, I have at least one that I use an awful lot and I've never heard the end of, because listening to Stephen Fry talk to me about lavender fields in Provence is apparently like really, really powerful sleepy time drug somehow. I've never heard the end of it. It's only like 15 or 20 minutes and I have no idea how it ends because I'm always out cold by the end of it. Plus like a little dose of Stephen Fry every day was never bad for anybody. So there you go. There's my tip. That one's actually freely available. You can on YouTube, if you go Stephen Fry Blue Gold, you can listen to it and he gets quieter toward the end of it. And so like by the end of it, like I skipped one time to the end just to see like what does the end sound like, and he's very, very quiet at the end of it, and it's just but it's great. I love it.
Kelly, is that the Stephen Fry of Jeeves and Wooster?
It is indeed. Yes, the Stephen Fry of the UK audiobook of every Harry Potter in the Harry Potter series. It's the same guy. Bit of Fry and Laurie, that's him. Yeah, I kind of love him anyway. So like letting him read to me was gonna always kind of be an easy sell. But then to have it be super effective to talk to me about lavender in France was really great. So yeah, I use that one a lot.
So what was the name of that? Lavender in France?
Blue Gold.
Blue Gold
is the name of it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just a story about lavender fields in Provence, and it's really lovely. All kinds of tips. That one's not even an iOS tip, but I'll give you that one anyway.
Thank you, Kelly.
So for the camera, I want to give a little bit of information here about the camera. This is just my desk. I just took a screenshot while I had the camera app open. And so you can see all the stuff on my desk. That's great. But there's a lot of things that you can do with the camera. For example, I'm sure everybody knows you can get to it from your lock screen. So right when you turn your phone on, there's a little camera button at the bottom and you can push that and it'll take you right to the camera. You can also, if you are, another thing that you can do is if you're not in the right mode for the thing you want to do, like if you press and hold the photo button and just keep holding it down, it will record a video. So if you just want to have a video like for the next 5 seconds or whatever, you can let go. But then also if you hold it down and slide it to the right, you'll see there's a little lock there, and then it'll just keep recording, and then it'll turn into the stop button like if you were normally in video mode, and it'll do that for you automatically. I hope everybody caught that one. I'm gonna give everybody a second to check that one out, because that one is a little tricky, but it's cool once you master it. And then I can drink some water. All right. So another thing that you can do from right there, obviously like we know about all the different modes that you can slide through for portrait and video and all those kind of things. And mostly I'm going to talk about just being in plain old photo mode. If you want to focus on something in particular in your image, you can tap right there on the screen as you're looking at it. And you'll notice that when you do, you get sort of a little sun symbol next to it. And if you can drag that little symbol up and down, and it will change the exposure on the image that you're taking. So maybe you want to take a picture of a sunset, but like the sun is blowing it out. You can focus below the sun and then make it darker so that you get, you know, the color in the clouds, if that's the thing you want to do, or maybe it's a little bit brighter than you thought. So you can just pull the exposure down a little bit and get a little bit less exposed photo, and it looks a little nicer. You can do all those with the with sliding it up and down. And you can also, if you tap and hold on that, you'll see that you'll get, if I can get it to work, you'll see at the top of your viewfinder up at the top of the screen, it'll say AEAF lock, and that's auto exposure, autofocus. So these exact settings, I'm going to keep using those settings, because you may have noticed if you try to take a few pictures, it'll sort of reset in between them. If you try to take a picture and like it's really bright, it'll try and auto adjust the focus and the exposure for you to make sure that you're getting a nice picture. But you can lock those to the thing that you want them to be. And then once they're locked, like once you get the lock, you can also then still go adjust by hand, and then it'll just keep those settings, and you can take a bunch of pictures with that setting, and then it'll look the way you want it to look. And then tap and hold on it again, and that banner will disappear, and it'll go back to auto calibrating for you.
Okay. All right, Don, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question that you've been waiting patiently to ask?
Hi, Kelly. Yeah.
Hit me, Don.
How do I get camera clicks back on my iOS 14 phone? It used to be under haptics and sounds. I no longer get a camera click. And I've looked all over and I don't see an option where it would be. Michael gave an answer earlier, but I couldn't find what he was talking about.
The physical switch on the side of your phone, which way is it?
Which way is it?
Yeah.
She's asking, is your phone muted, Mike?
Yeah,
Don.
above the volume?
Oh, above the volume.
Yeah, you got
the physical switch. No, I don't see the red. No, no, it's not.
Okay, you don't have the red there?
No.
Okay.
Does yours click?
Yeah.
Oh.
But only if I have the sound on.
Yeah.
Because like right now it's not going to, right? Because I'm muted. Yeah, I'm muted, so it's not. Then I unmute, and I have sound, and I have shutter sounds.
Oh.
There's a place. There's a weird setting that I'm gonna dig for. While I tell you about the other trick that you can do. So I told you that in photo, if you take that button at the bottom and you slide it to the right toward the camera flipper arrows, that's the thing that will lock the record on. So you can press and hold on it. If you press and hold firmly, it'll start recording, and then you can slide it to the right, and that will give you like regular video mode. If you didn't swipe over to video mode already, you can just go straight to video by doing that. If you push on the button and slide to the left, then that will give you burst mode. If you remember burst mode from other phones, that's the one that you can. That's one of the ones that sort of went away when they got rid of 3D touch. So the way that you get to that now is to push on the button and slide to the left, and you'll feel it go as it takes a bunch of pictures. Do you get, was it Dawn who had the question about sound? Okay. Do you get sound for other stuff on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if in sounds and haptics, there's ringer and alerts, and I wonder if maybe you've got something set there that might be funny.
Oh, okay. I'll look at it. I'm glad it's just me. It must be somewhere. Thanks.
Does it buzz? Does it like buzz at you when you do it? Like, do you feel it with the
doesn't.
haptics in your phone?
It doesn't do anything.
Okay.
Oh, Yeah, now I hear it. It's very low. Is that one of the things that's separately adjusted volume?
It might be.
Uh,
Like if you go to ringers and alerts, there's a couple of things there. I think that you can.
Okay, I see it. Thank
that you
you.
might be able to
Maybe it's
adjust.
because if I'm outside, I don't hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Did it get fixed?
I'll work on the volume, but the clicking
Nice.
is working.
All right.
But there's
Very
no
cool.
setting for it.
Yeah.
I guess it clicks for everybody.
Well, in sounds and notifications at the very, very bottom, there's a sounds and haptics switch. And if that's off, then if you don't feel it either, then that might be part of why. I can't guarantee that, but that's a place sometimes you can get trouble. Let's see. Okay, so we talked about burst mode. We talked about recording video. Another one we want to talk about. Yes.
Tim Baker, can you unmute yourself and make your comment?
Hi, Tim.
Hello, Kelly. Yes, if you have live photos enabled, you won't hear the camera click.
Oh, okay. I basically never use them, so
Me neither.
I didn't notice that at all.
Me either. Yes.
I don't often use that. Thank you, though.
So
Thank
just
you.
press that little
But
little yellow circle in the upper left-hand corner to turn off live photos, and you'll hear the camera clip again.
right, but Don, sometimes you'll find that live photos may be turned on and you don't know it.
Right.
You're right.
You may not think you're using live photo, but sometimes that happens.
Thank you.
That's been
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. That's been at least 2 panicked phone calls from my family. Why is it making a movie every time I try to take a picture? So another place I want to talk about. This is another. I feel like I have a whole bunch of. If you spend 5 minutes here, your life will be immeasurably better. And this one is contacts. You may want to go through and clean up your contacts. So I'll give you a side tip that actually is not iOS related. If you sit down in front of your computer and go to icloud.apple.com, you can log in with your Apple ID and you can get access to all of the stuff that you have in iCloud. One of those is contacts, and it's a very easy way to manage all of the stuff and see the server version of all of the contacts that you have that you're syncing to all of the places. And generally your phone, like, yes, there's a contacts app on macOS, but not everybody has gone through the steps to set that up to sync so that it's 100% all of the stuff that's in iCloud is 100% of the stuff in contacts. So you can do that if you have that set up. Power to you. By default, a lot of people don't have it, which is why I'm saying just go to the website, because if you go to the web, you'll see like the ultimate version. This is the canonical version of what your contacts are supposed to look like according to Apple, because this is what they have on the server. So you can go through and clean those up over time. That's a different tip I have from another talk I gave about spring cleaning your Mac, because it's nice to make sure those contacts are up to date. Like particularly, I mean, even now, I know people who, when they got their first smartphone, they went to the mobile phone store and they migrated all the contacts from the flip phone or whatever to their cell phone, to their smartphone, and those contacts haven't changed. So there's still people I know who, like, I'm in their phone as KG Cell, KG Home, you know, with like 3 or 4 or 5 different contacts. And you can have all of those numbers on one contact now, and it's great. So it might be nice to go through and give those a quick pass and brush them up. That's all. Like, it's always a nice idea to make sure that information's up to date, basically. But beyond that, another thing that you can do in there is you can change the sort order in your contacts. So maybe you like to have everybody by first name. For me, like if I'm looking for George, I'm automatically going to go to G, because I may or may not remember his last name, depending on the time of day of the week, how well I slept last night. Like I may not even know my own last name. So it might be hard to find somebody in contacts. So those are all things that that's a thing that can be useful. You can sort by first name or by last name. And you can also tell it to prefer nicknames. So, you know, if I've got George in my phone as Mad Dog Ruben, like I can always just go straight to M and he'll be right there. So did I just give you a new nickname, George?
Yes, you did.
Yep. All right.
We won't let him live that one down either.
Mad dog.
Another thing that you can do in contacts, this is one that I have found immeasurably useful for like every single minute that they've allowed this to be a thing on my iPhone, is you can change the alerts per person. So I have like my default text tone that's just anybody. If I ever get a text, it makes this noise. If it's a member of my family, if it's my husband or my parents or somebody like that, it makes a different noise. And if it's like some other, like there are a few people I have custom sounds for. So they have a custom ringtone and they have a custom text tone, and they can be different. And it can be all kinds of things that you want it to be. But the thing that I love about that is that I can tell immediately if that phone call or if that text message is one I need to pay attention to. Like if I'm expecting something to text me a 6-digit code, like it's just going to make the general noise and I know it came in, right? But when my dad sends me a text, I know I need to pay attention to it because my dad doesn't text me very often. He'll just call and he gets a different ringtone, so I know exactly when he calls me. And my mom is the same way. So if my mom or if my stepdad texts me or calls me, I know just by hearing it who that is. And that is immeasurably useful. And you can also set, I don't think it's per group, but you can set, like I said, you can have custom ringtones, and you can even have it be like different for each one. And you can set a number of other things that are interesting in a contact. So if you go to the ringtone for a contact, you can set them for emergency bypass. So if this person calls you, your phone will ring, period. If you're in do not disturb, if you're in, scheduled bedtime, if your sound is off, this person will get through no matter what. So if you have that person in your life, like if this person ever calls me, I need to take that call forthwith, you have that option, and it's called emergency bypass.
Sharon, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Not really a question per se, as a comment. You can set custom vibration tones for your text as well.
Shame on you, Sharon. You're reading ahead in my notes.
My bad.
All right.
I'll back out now.
She didn't ask. We're taking that back. All right, go ahead, Kelly.
The other nice thing you can do there is you can also set custom vibrations. So you can have it just like buzz once if it's anybody, or, buzz a few times. And it gives you, at least the last time I tried it, it gives you an option. So you tap on it, like the pattern that you want the vibrating to be. So, if you have somebody that only ever calls you in a panic, maybe you tap, SOS as their vibration tone, and like, oh, it's an emergency. I better find out what's going on. You can set those up, and it's super great to spend a couple of minutes, and then if it's your kids or your grandkids or your parents, or the friend that you have that always calls you about a particular thing, and you need to answer or whatever, you can set that for whatever contact you have. Or you always need to know the doctor's office calls you, they get a special ringtone or something.
Okay, so the vibration for the text, how do you set that up, Kelly?
I think it's weird. I'm going to try it again because I haven't looked on iOS 14, but if you go to contacts, and you have a contact, let's see, where did it go? If you edit the contact and you tap on text tone, if you want it for text tone, then you can go to vibration, and under vibration, it has a bunch of them for you already that you can try. So there's heartbeat and rapid and SOS, etc. And then at the bottom, there's a custom create new vibration. And that's the one that lets you tap on the screen to make it what you want. But like while you've got it in your hand, you can kind of test the rest of them and see how they feel.
That's cool.
Yeah. And that's also nice if you use your phone regularly in silent mode. Like if you have the switch flipped a lot, or you have your volume down pretty far, then even if it's in your pocket, or like if it's sitting on the table, because I only have like 1 or 2 custom vibrations for anybody. So I can tell if it's sitting on if it's sitting on my desk and it goes off, like I can hear the buzzing and tell like, oh, that's just a regular text message or not. So yeah, the custom ones are fun. You will also notice there's a tone store. So if you want to spend $1 or $2, you can get some fun tones. They have some noises from different movies. They have like some clips of songs and some different things. So if you have something like that, you know, that person you never want to talk to, you can make their ringtone the Imperial March. It's great.
Okay.
I did that by hand before it was an option for most people. So
oh wow.
This is just my contact screen, just to show like here's some of the stuff that you see, you know, when it's empty, and you can change all those things. Another thing I want to talk about in contacts is there's 2 things that are important. One of them doesn't show in the screen. That's nickname. You can have a nickname set up in there, and I'll tell you why that's cool in a minute. And also like where it says mobile in the middle for that phone number, if you tap on mobile, there's a bunch of different labels that you can use for a phone number. So there's like home and work and fax and cell and all kinds of different things that you can put as the option for that phone number. So if you have somebody with this is their home number and this is their mobile number and this is their work number, or maybe it's a business and there's a fax number because they're a business from the 1950s. Like you can change all of those and put labels on them that you want. And if you look at the list of labels and it doesn't work for you, you can always go down to the bottom and there's add custom label, and you can make custom labels for people's things like work cell or things like that. If it doesn't show up in the list, you can make very custom ones for that. You can do the same for email address. If you want to add an email address, all of those things are customizable, you know, home email, work email, whatever, you can change those too. While we're talking about contacts, I want to make sure that you set up an emergency contact. So I'm going to hope everybody's done this, but I'm going to walk through it kind of casually in case there's anybody that hasn't and just doesn't want to get any flack for it. If you open the health app and tap on your profile picture, maybe there's not one there, but if there is, you can tap on it. Otherwise, it'll just be the outline of the person. And tap on medical ID in the health app. And when you do that, I'm going to fix my chair here while I tell you about this. Then tap on edit. And once you get to your medical ID, tap edit and scroll down to emergency contacts, and you can add an emergency contact. So like you hit the plus and you'll choose the contact that's in your phone already that you want to have called, and you put in your relationship to that person, and then tap done and it'll save it. You can't set 911 as an emergency contact. It doesn't work. But you can, but once you've got that, it's saved. And if you need to make changes to that, you go to the same place and you can hit minus if there's an update you need to make, like you chose the wrong phone number for somebody, or that person moved away and you need to choose a different person as the emergency contact. And this will be like if you use the SOS feature, I think it's 5 presses on the power button, on the side button on your phone, or on your watch. If you use the emergency services, you know, like you fell and it's going to contact 911 and then it does contact 911, it's also going to send a notification to the person you have designated in emergency contacts to let them know that there is an emergency and you're being contacted.
All right. Well, thank you. Kelly, you've had a lot of people looking at their phones, and I'm sure they're still looking at their phones right now.
I hope so. That was the point.
Yeah, but it is time to go. So George, will you take it over, please?
Kelly, thank you very, very much. This was a great meeting. And I'm thrilled that we were able to organize it and put it together. And we look forward to seeing you again one day. And
well, I'll tell you, we didn't even make it halfway through my list.
Oh, we
So
did?
I've got a whole bunch more we can talk about another time.
Well, we really enjoyed your, I'm sure everybody wants to say thank you. So please unmute and let her have it.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you,
Kelly.
Kelly.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
Great job,
Thank
Kelly.
you. Thanks,
It's the
Kelly, for
first
really
time I-
interesting.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks a lot.